Hi, welcome back to 3D CAD, Drafting 263 with Blue Mountain Community College. This week we're going to have some fun. We're going to learn how to do animations in SolidWorks. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to show you what we're going to build. You can see on your screen, I hope, is this animation of this rack and pinion gear. And we're going to learn how to build this thing. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start with an existing assembly drawing. So I'm going to close this out. And I'm going to open up the assembly drawing we're going to start with. Now, you can find this assembly drawing in eCompanion. There is a link on the week introduction tab. But the one that you want is the rack and pinion mates. And actually, I think I'm going to end up putting all these in SolidWorks. So you will need both the Gear 1 solid part, all three of these files. You'll need the Gear 1 solid part, the rack and pinion mates, and the rack solid part files. So, or SolidWorks parts files, excuse me. So save all three of these down into the same folder. And then once you have them all downloaded, go ahead and open up the assembly drawing. And you can see there are two components here. There's a rack and a Gear 1. Now, you do need to pay a little bit of attention to this video because the instructions that I'm going to give you differ slightly from your text. So if you're having problems with this exercise because you've just done it on the text and not watched this video, this should help. So do note what I say as well as what it says in the text. So we're going to follow the instructions on page 11-3 as they're stated. So the first thing we need to do is you can see that our gear is not aligned with our rack there. It's kind of cantawampus there in that plane. So let's go ahead and put in a mate that will align the front planes of these two pieces. And so we are going to expand maybe our feature manager tree. There we go. So I just expanded the feature tree for the rack, and I want to select its front plane. And now I'm going to expand the feature tree for the gear and select its front plane. And SolidWorks automatically makes those coincident. Sorry, I need a drink. Okay. And we're going to say OK. And OK. Now here comes the part where we're going to differ from what the textbook says. The textbook now wants you to do the same thing but make the right planes of these two components parallel. That's actually unnecessary, and I think that what happened was our textbook is based on 2015. This is 2014. I think they probably reworked these models in between textbook editions, so we are going to oh no, I know it. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Sorry, something else just occurred to me. So let's go ahead and set the starting position so this gear starts way back here at the front of this rack. So to do that, we are going to add another mate that makes the right planes of both the rack and the gear parallel. Yeah, see, that still doesn't. I don't like it. Let's leave it just like this. So let's skip that right plane parallel statement. Like I said, I think the author probably did some modification in between textbook editions, so we're going to skip that step. And we're going to go right on to the instructions, step 4 on page 11-4. Now do pay attention to step 3 because at some point you may need to know how to suppress a mate, and that's what that step is for. So again, we skipped steps 2 skipped the aligning of the right planes, which starts at the bottom page 11-3, and we skipped step 3, which is about suppressing a mate. And we're going to go right on to step 4, which is adding a mechanical mate. And this is where it gets kind of cool. So we are going to open up again our mate. And if we move down here, we can go to mechanical mates. We're going to expand this. And what we have is we have a rack and pinion model. Now, I'm going to change my view to front view, and I'm going to zoom in down here. Okay, so our rack is the rack, and what you want to do is you want to select the bottom edge of one of the teeth on the rack. And you should have highlighted this box here if it wasn't already highlighted. Once I do that, the highlight will move to the pinion gear field. Now your textbook, again, tells you to select a construction circle. In this particular model, there is no construction circle, so we're just going to click on one of the outer edges of one of the teeth of the gear. Okay. And now we can click OK. And let's go back to isometric view and let's just test this real quick. And we can test it simply by dragging my rack. And you can see that moving my rack spins my gear. And let's test this. If I spin my gear, I move my rack. So my gear is fixed, and that's okay. Actually, my gear is fixed when I'm spinning it. When I drag my rack, oh, my gear is the fixed component. Okay. Perfect. So now let's get to the animation piece. We do that. First, we're going to click out of here so that that says OK. Now let's go into the motion study one. So down here at the bottom, kind of like where you find tabs in Excel, if you're familiar with Excel, you can see that we've got something called motion study one. Let's go ahead and open that up. And we're going to stay in isometric view, so we're not going to worry about that. But now what we want to do is we want to turn on a motor. So right here, this little yellow thing above what looks like the timer tape at the bottom of your screen is motor. So we're going to click on that. And over here now on the right-hand side, we're going to turn on a linear motor. And the thing that we're going to move is our rack. So we're going to select, again, this edge. Let's zoom in a little bit. We're going to select that edge, so the bottom edge of one of the teeth of our rack. Okay, and we can zoom back out. And now let's set our speed to 50 millimeters per second. And we will now say OK. Okay, if I push play now, let's see what happens. So the screen arrow down here says play. Look at that. Okay, yours may not be going back and forth. Mine is, and I'll show you how to make yours do that. You see this? Right next to where it says 5 times, which means playback of 5 times the normal speed. If we change that to 1 time, it would be normal speed. Okay, and you can see my gear teeth are all matching up. It's really actually very cool. Now, right next to that, what was 5x, is this thing. This is playback mode. Normal will just go through once and stop. And if you push play again, it goes back to the beginning. If you change that to a loop, it goes through and it starts back at the beginning. Let me slow that down so we can see it. So it'll go all the way through, and then it'll reset everything back to the beginning. Now, if you want to make everything go back and forth like mine was doing, use the playback mode reciprocate and put that back to 5 times, and we can watch our gear go back and forth. All right, enjoy animations. We're going to do another one here in a minute, but I'll do it in a separate video. We're going to look at the limit and cam mates. I will see you again soon.